What day is it? It's Athletics LLC Day. Yay.
It's the NFL Draft Day.
Athletics LLC Day. Let's go ahead and just overrule that one.
Lock
but
it
anyways. So anyhow, welcome one, welcome all. Another fun episode of Athletics LLC on tap here. Let's just jump right in. Governor, obviously you're being festive today.
Yeah, it's draft day. You know, we got us a tackle. Okay, we got some more protection. We need more protection,
man.
And
y'all need witness protection for Dak,
and we need more protection. Did I mention that we need to protect Dak Prescott? Yeah, we do. Okay, that's where I'm at right now.
Y'all shouldn't even have OTAs. Y'all should just put him in bubble wrap.
Like we're on the same path right now. Okay, Mr. Lamar. You know. Okay, so.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All right, let's give him a shot.
The real petty comes out during football. So
G-Man Huffins.
No,
Shocker.
say it properly.
No.
G-Man. Say it with your chest.
Say it with your chest.
They can't, so I'm not going to.
Excuse me? I mean, listen, choose a 49er fan, so, you know, she's feeling good right now. Except for when they lose Debo.
Matters. We'll get somebody to step up.
Okay.
Literally
You're
does
going to
not
replace Debo Samuels.
Okay. And the Chiefs are going to replace Cheetah. Yep.
Yeah.
That's going to happen.
Right.
You don't know the fate of the city. It always happens. Jesus. Anyways, relieve this man, Clyde. Clyde, how are you today?
I don't really care about the draft. What I do know is that no Giants fans should be talking about the wide receiver core of any team. And the Cowboys need to protect Dak Prescott from a lot of things, including mediocrity.
That's funny.
You know,
COVID.
It's all fun and games. And again, Governor, it's not about you.
Okay.
It's the fan base. I understand. But yeah, draft away. All the busts. Take them all.
Oh man. Help us all, Sir Lucious. Help us all.
I'm well. I could care less about the draft.
Hey, you got Deshaun Watson, so you're good now.
I could care less about the draft.
Hide all the
I could care
massage
less
therapists.
about and there's the problem right there. So anyway, I'm not engaging in that tomfoolery this evening, but I am well, Chief.
Excellent.
I am well.
Excellent. Well, as life serves us well, this week, Athletics LLC was served a big platter of here's some stuff to talk about, because as always, the world is shining upon these 5 tiles to say, here you go, have some fun. So per usual, during the track season, we'll start with Track is Back. Yes, sir.
Since I might get pulled away really quick and I'm still here for the time being, can we please just start with the Karsten Warholm commentary and start there so we can get into this?
Throw it out there.
No, you got to read the message. You got to read the tweet.
Dang. Hold on.
I mean, this was so up Clyde's wheelhouse, just in his wheelhouse, right? Just inflammatory, undercover, petty, all of that. It was all of that.
Listen, let's be clear. There's a lot of undercover petty tweeting going on right now.
Oh, no, for sure.
There's a lot of that
over the place.
Since so many people have missed it, I assure you, we ain't miss it.
Yeah, we didn't miss not a one.
Let's here's the quote.
Yeah, I get it because I can't read it.
The offer to go to Eugene has been there, but it was a no-brainer to say no because I am on a larger assignment. I cannot get on a plane and only be slaughtered on May 28th. For me, it's the championships that are important. And on May 28th, I'm still in the process of becoming the best version of myself. While everyone else is competing, I need a little more time. Drops the mic.
That's right.
Walks out.
That's right. And
making
that is
noise as his medals go. Cha-king, cha-king,
right. That's right.
Cha-king, cha-king, cha-king.
And for anybody that is confused, that is the king speaking to the peasants as if, how dare you call me when I'm busy? Okay. And let me be clear. I've said this on the show many times. Rai Benjamin is my favorite male athlete in the sport, period. So this ain't about Rai. I root for Rai. I believe he will supplant and take the throne of Karsten Warholm. But today, it belongs to the king. And he doesn't have to answer your requests, Track World. He doesn't have to show up at the Prefontaine. He's not even a Nike athlete. So why would he entertain such foolery? And if for anybody out there, because I've seen a lot of it, they're suggesting that he is somehow scared. Scared of who? Scared of what? Last I checked, the 2017 world champion in the 400 hurdles is Karsten Warholm. 19 world champion, Karsten Warholm. 2020, 2021, however you want to call it, Olympic champion is Karsten Warholm. The world record holder at 45.9 is Karsten Warholm, and the record he broke belonged to Karsten Warholm. So in what world is he scared of who? Stop all that. That's insane. He'll show up when he feels like it. And we all should be, thankful for his presence when he chooses to grace us with it.
Okay,
and that's exactly what that.
Okay, so I'm gonna be okay with you until this "we should all be grateful" crap. No. Like, the bottom line is this: the man races when he wants to race. This again goes out to the whole, internet chatter, Twitter, twits, and all that mess.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the guy's not ready to race yet. That's all the mess says to me is I'm not ready to race yet, and I'm not going to put my whatever at jeopardy. My preparations at jeopardy for what the bigger picture is. And what that tweet said to me is like, I'm not coming over there because I'm not ready yet. That's all it said. Now, if he wanted to flex, I don't know if I didn't read it as flexing, but I don't live in the petty verse that you guys live in, so I don't know about that stuff. But I don't view it as anything other than a man saying, "Hey, I'm not ready, so I'm not coming." But on the flip side of that, wouldn't we also agree that if Rai did the same thing, then Rai would definitely be thrashed for being scared?
Oh, yeah. He'd be flamed.
Well, he doesn't have the wins or the medals or the record.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If he did it, he'd still call him scared. Okay, so you have to have a medal. You have to be the gold medalist or record holder. So being a gold medalist or record holder excuses you from that chatter, right?
Oh, no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that the idea that any athlete is scared of a competition that he's dominated for years is ridiculous.
Well, I think the ridiculousness of the whole conversation is that anybody is scared. So unless you live in that person's head or live in that person's soul, how would anybody know? It's like the number of people out there that, the armchair coaches that want to always talk about what an athlete did or how an athlete feels. How the heck would they know? So let's read it for what it is. The man said, "I'm not ready. I'm not coming over there." And we all know that he will be here in July, and when he gets here, he will be ready. So I mean, let's look forward to the show. And I'm challenging Rai and his gang to get ready, because I'll be in the stadium for that one. I promise you that. Absolutely.
So this sounds eerily familiar, and the only reason that we're talking about this when we've seen this scene play out several times in years past, what comes to mind is a certain King Carl during his heyday. He did not step on that track until he was ready. And it was always a point of contention, especially with the long jump. And Lamar, you know what I'm talking about here. This man would jump 4 to 5 times a year, and Track and Field News would rank that man #1 every single year. But he never lost, right? We can only look back at 91, where he lost and still, approached the world record, right? And it was always a point of contention. Some of the conversations I've had with fellow jumpers that were sitting there going, man, we're jumping 10, 11, 12, 20 times a year. 20 times, and Carl shows up when he was ready. And if you weren't ready to beat him, then it worked. And it worked for years and years and years and years. And he dominated the sport. And this is something that we've seen over the years. Did Usain Bolt show up at the track 20 times a year? No.
Nope.
But
not.
when he showed up, it was a show.
He showed up. And also, I think we need to look at the fact that Warholm doesn't race in a lot of big races during the year.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a Fugazi time trialer, but he is a time trialer, right? He just happens to run really fast in his, right? His racers are all set up. The lane is always picked. The people are always picked, right? And so he and he has that right. I'm not bashing the man. He has that right because he has earned that right.
He's earned
But
that right.
Anybody that thought he was coming to Prefontaine in the first place was delusional because he doesn't race. He doesn't run a races like that.
I thought it was funny that anybody thought he was coming. To me, it was one of those things which always happens in the media, especially in the social media, right? It was a non-story that I couldn't believe was a story.
Yeah.
Right. There's a lot of those that float around. And look, the segue is too easy. I don't want to not talk about Carson Warholm anymore, but the segue to our next piece of topic is just too easy because you mentioned Carl Lewis. And I'm sorry. Look, I know that the world who watches this show is fully expecting the next things that are going to come out of my mouth. So I'm going to go ahead and let it come out of my mouth. In no effing world should Matthew Bowling ever be mentioned in the same sentence as Carl Lewis, unless that sentence is Carl Lewis is substantially better at track and field than Matthew Bowling. That is the only way you put those two people's names in the same sentence. To compare them directly in a tweet as if I'm going to lay this here and let y'all run with it was so belittling to the sport of track and field, to the ridiculous life and career that was Carl Lewis. And what I thought was funny is it just went to show how immediately ravenous and stupid the general, as Sir Lucious likes to call it, Twitterverse is. They clamored for this nonsense. They went as hard as they could to find a possible way to compare them, then stuck it on the internet and said, watch this, y'all. I thought it was a joke the first time I saw it. And then I was like, okay, I have a show. I don't do the EP thing very often, but I was like, I have a show. We'll talk about this on air. So now that I've introduced our next subtopic, I would love for you wonderful panelists to please speak upon the fuckery that is that tweet.
Oh, wow.
There were a lot of there were a lot of
thank you, Big Lee. Micah, he apologizes.
That's not a curse word.
You said effery.
Yes, it's not a curse word. Look it up.
Oh, I thought he said the whole thing. Either way,
He did. He did. He
Listen,
wholeheartedly emphasized it. 2 exclamation marks.
There was a lot of misses, I'll say, in the posting world that is social media this week. A lot of misses. That might have been the biggest one.
Oh man.
When I saw it, I had this image of, somebody pulling an arm muscle from reaching really, really hard. I was like, y'all can't be that bored for content to try to make that one up.
Oh man.
And the marks were so far off from each other. I'm like, why are we doing this? But hey,
I mean,
you know,
yeah, I mean, look, it's and let me just be me on this one. I walk a fine line here because of my position in this world, but like what Matthew has done in comparison to what Carl has done would be classified as cute, right?
Yeah.
Would it even
best,
be classified? I'm like, it's not a shot at him. It's not a shot at him, but you.
But let me finish, please, because I think that, look, what Matthew has done is serviceable, to quote our good friend DA, to borrow his term. And I think that, Matthew has yet again set himself up to prove to the world that who a lot of people believe that he is. But running at Tom Jones and running at the Georgia Tech meet is not comparable to what Carl did. Jumping over 8 meters on occasion is not comparable to what Carl did. I think look, great accomplishment for Matthew. Running 998, running 1992, jumping whatever he jumped. It's great accomplishment for Matthew. And I think that, again, it sets him up to be able to put his Superman cape on and do his job for the Georgia Bulldogs, but not Carl. No, let's call him what he is. He is a super talent. He has the potential to do wonderful things. But I will quote my man Conway Hill on this one: potential means you ain't done shit yet. So,
I mean, let the church say amen.
So I have,
and I'm a bowling fan. Don't get me wrong.
Wait, because I know the governor has something to say. Can I throw a shout out on this particular tweet? The best response I saw to that tweet, the comparative Carl Lewis tweet, has to go hands down to Fred Curley, whose response was, let me go 8 meters now. So bravo, sir. I am here for petty subtweets or direct ones. And that was awesome.
So one word comes to mind. Okay. Algorithm. So if you're trying to make a point, right, on social media, right, and you're dealing in a numbers game, and you're trying to show that someone is on another level or comparable to the greatest, well, let's do some cross-referencing. So you notice you have to throw the age in there, right? Mm-hmm. So it's the 100, it's the 200, it's the long jump, and it's the age. Okay, and this is what makes them special.
Can I pause you for 1 second? No, because that right there, right? The age, because they chose the age of 21, right?
They chose a very specific age.
I know that most of our audience isn't old enough to know this. Carl Lewis, 42 years ago, when he was 18, made the 1980 Olympic team that we boycotted.
Yes.
So 3 years later, he was already an Olympian.
Yes.
Right?
So
also, in 83 was the first world championship, which he dominated.
Yes.
At age 21.
Yes.
So you're comparing somebody who's not won a national title individually yet to someone who had won global.
No, he won the 200.
I'm sorry, Matthew.
Indoors.
I didn't mean it as a diss. I really didn't. He has won a national title to someone that had won global gold medals by this age. Okay. Continue, please, Governor.
The only number that stuck out to me is 8.79 meters. Okay? 8 meters 79.
At 21.
There's a slight difference.
At 21.
and let's do, in my opinion, what should be said. This like, let's not like totally trash Matthew on this, because it's not Matthew's fault.
No,
No, we're
people
trashing
do
the
this all
person
the
that puts
time.
together the
This is
tweet.
not about-
This has nothing to do with
exactly. But I know, I'm just saying, like, okay, so people do this all the time, right? There's always a comparison, but like, it's the white hype. I mean, I'm sorry, people get mad at me. It's what it is. Okay, if Matthew Bolden was a little darker, we would have these discussions. We would not. We talked about this last week with Favor and Abby. And don't get me wrong, I think Abby Steiner and Matthew Bolden are great athletes, but the hype would not be the same if they were they weren't Caucasian.
Well, since you
it's just that
segued
simple.
us so perfectly into that, the next layer of Track is Back Internet edition from this past weekend was World Athletics going very far out of their way to make a really big deal about Abby Steiner's 2205.
You done changed the girl's name.
Listen, and again, I love Abby Steiner. I'm a huge fan. I think she's
Yes,
brilliant.
you
I
are.
think she's going to break the NCAA record, which she currently does not hold. And I think she's going to make Team USA. I'm on the train, but
Yes, you are.
I don't remember World Athletics posting a big 21-9 poster of Favor Ophelia the week before. Now, if
It's
I
a
missed
whole
that,
10 faster. It's more
If
than
I
a
missed
10
that,
faster.
if I missed it, I apologize, but I assure you I don't remember seeing it.
Hey,
didn't miss
I'm gonna need you to check your public math skills, sir.
Why?
Okay, I'll let you figure it out.
She run 92 or 97. So I thought she ran.
96.
I thought she ran 92. That's why I said that. So it's not a math problem. It's a memory problem. Just saying.
Which leads to a math problem. But anyway,
No, there's no math
I'm
problem. It's just a memory problem.
sorry, because you say that with such piss and vinegar in your voice. But go ahead.
Get him back on topic.
My bad. It was 900ths.
But in all seriously,
That was better.
did World Athletics put out
No,
the poster?
like see, we talked about this last week, and you, as you like to do, like you protected the, I don't think it's a race thing. Of course it is. Like, stop it. It is.
It is.
Because now we know it is, right? So if you didn't believe it was a week ago, and you still don't believe it was, then you just got the blinders on. You don't want to see it. At the end of the
I didn't
day,
say a
look,
word.
last week you said, and I quote, "I don't believe it's a race thing." Those are your words. Go back.
You
and
did
check
say
the tape,
that.
'cause you said
I
it.
did
That's
say
what-
that, and in general, I believe that the fact that World Athletics said
and you
nothing the week
you
before
still
and
believe it?
stepped out with the
So you still believe it?
third in the world poster
Do you still
is a
believe
bad look.
you still
So
believe
no, he doesn't believe it.
He won't answer the question.
No, I
So
just
do you
answered the
still believe it?
question. I'm sorry,
No,
am I
see,
not
yes, sir.
being clear?
Do you still believe it's not a race thing?
From World Athletics is clearly a race thing.
Okay.
But just World Athletics.
Yes, that's who
Oh,
right.
okay.
Because last week I was talking in general when I said it wasn't a race thing, because for most people it isn't. For most people it isn't. But World Athletics said nothing the week before, and this week made a whole ass poster.
A lot of people said nothing. Wasn't just World Athletics. The girl broke the collegiate record.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was like radio silence. It wasn't just World Athletics.
Well, but wait a minute. It wasn't radio silence. For example, the Coaches Association put out a tweet and a post about it, about Favor.
Yeah,
Okay. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. The point that I was making last week is I don't expect.
Okay. That young lady.
I don't expect USATF to put out a post.
She was a
about
barrier
not American.
breaker. Yeah. Okay. I'm not talking about USATF. Okay. But the young lady broke a barrier. The first collegiate woman to run under 22 seconds. It should have been a huge deal.
It should have been a huge deal.
I don't care. I don't care if she's purple. Like, it should have been a huge deal.
We all
right?
agree.
And it's not a huge deal. So, but I can promise you now, and we're going to see if it happens. If Abby Steiner runs 21.95, the internet is going to break.
Yes.
Yes.
It is going to break.
Led by World Athletics, clearly.
No.
So
I'm not letting you do that. No.
while we're talking about segues, I mean, Sir Lucious, you've alluded to this. For all intents and purposes, the attendance in Oxford should be through the roof.
Yes.
Like, there should be
Yes.
no seating in
None.
that stadium. None.
None.
Because what are we getting? And here's the thing. You know, we see it every year, right? And we see it manifest itself indoors and we see it outdoors. What kind of bloodbath is the SEC meet going to be?
Let me just lob up the whole. Okay, it's Favor versus Abby in the 100, right?
Yes.
And the 200. Jada Bayard's gonna have a voice in the 100.
Yes.
She's got something to say about it, right?
Yes.
I mean, there might be a pretty intriguing 400 hurdle race on the women's side.
Yes.
That happens where you got three girls that are 55-3 or better, right? And a couple other girls that have run 50. One's run 56.2, another one 56.3, another one 56.5, and nobody knows.
Mm-hmm.
You could literally run 55 seconds and be 5th or 6th at the SEC women's side this year. Okay, in the men's 100 at the SEC championships, okay, you obviously got now we got Matthew in the 100 and 200.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the defending NCAA champions in the 200, so he might have something to say about that, right? In the men's 100 meters, there are, I think, 10 or 12 guys who run 10:17 or better in the meet, right? In the men's 400, there are 8 guys who have broken 45.8. And there's a couple of them that haven't run it yet. Yes.
Yeah.
Like Champion Allison nor Ja'Cory Patterson have run it. And right now, like 8th place in the SEC is 45.85.
Yeah.
This is true.
I want to say 46.15 is like 16th in the 14th or 15th in the league.
Wow. I mean, I'll be the jerk that says it. 10:17 is 5th on the Florida depth chart currently.
Nobody asked you all that. Nobody asked you all that. You know, like in the women's 800, there are like, I think there's 4 or 5 girls that are
that event is ridiculous right now.
Yeah, there's 4 girls that have run 201, and another one that has a PB of 201 that opened up at 204. I mean, you can do this all day. Like,
and one that ran 204 after doing 6 events.
Okay,
craziness.
There you go again. So, but at the end of the day, I think if you're looking for a great conference meet to go to, Oxford, Mississippi in 2 weeks, you should show up because it's going to be phenomenal. It really is.
I know we got one more piece of internet nonsense to get into. I
was definitely not about to forget any parts of that. Listen, Sir Lucious has said to me, you know, maybe I'm the good luck charm. You know, I go to Tom Jones and crazy things happen in the next week just because I want to be supportive, you know, of my peoples. I go to Baylor. I don't know the shenanigans are going to go on. I think we're just going to, you know, like the Michael Johnson meet. It's usually windy. Some people do some things, but it's nothing crazy. What? So, I mean, let's start with this. It was a meet of almost, and I need people to understand this. It's always windy in Waco, right?
Yes.
But I need y'all to understand the 3 heats in the 100 hurdles prior to the 12-3 that was windy were all legal. The 3 heats in the women's 100 prior to the 1066 were all legal. So when Brittany comes across the line at 1066, like literally my heart kind of skipped a little bit because, you know, I'm a contextual individual. I know who's in the race. I see how far Brittany Brown has beaten Gabby Thomas.
Yes.
Right? So the 1066 is legit in my head because she smashed somebody who's already run under 11 this year. So now I'm like, did I just really see a 1066 win legal? Because remember, the 3 races before were all under 2. So I actually, to some degree, I know this sounds weird, I felt relieved that the win was 3.2 because I was like, what is going on in the sport of track and field?
Yeah.
Well,
the subtweet petty.
One of y'all gonna read that tweet.
Sir
The
Lucious,
sub-
did you see the tweet
From
from
Gabby.
Gabby? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh man.
The subtweet Petty was spectacular. Charles, please share. I mean, I'm sorry.
No.
Clyde,
The
please share.
governor has the best reading voice on the panel.
He does.
And the
He does.
governor shall read this tweet.
Oh,
And
man.
before he does, I want to be clear, because a lot of people, in my opinion, are missing how brilliant this is. Gabby Thomas is brilliant. Gabby Thomas is Harvard educated. Read that tweet, sir.
Okay. I'm pulling it up. It is a classic. It is an absolute classic. All right. So I'm trying to picture, like we have to bring attention to this, right? Why aren't we talking about this? This girl just went from an 11.2 PB to 11.66 Windy.
10.66.
April. If you don't know track, this is huge. This makes her one of the best sprinters in history.
Right.
I would have liked to win this one, but gotta give props to Brittany Shamir. Okay? Look, here's the other part, Clyde. The other part of this. Who is Gabby Thomas's coach? Think about that.
That's right.
Okay. Don't think for 1 second there wasn't a conversation after that race. Like,
Who's Brittany Brown's coach?
The hurdle mechanic.
Boogie down.
Wow. Okay.
And I want to say this. There was a statement made by him this weekend, because you had 10.66, 12.3, and sub 45 all run by people that he coached at the meet, and they were all affiliated at Hurdle Mechanic Nike.
Who ran sub 45?
Deadman. Is that his name?
I missed that. event. So I just
44, 44.87, like that.
Something like that.
This was at Michael Johnson.
At Baylor.
Yeah, and Will London, who's also in that group, was like 44, 45, like 2, something like that.
But just listen, this tweet has been all over different parts of the internet and track world. And for the most part, I say 90% of it, 90% of the reaction to that tweet is, that's dope. Good job, Gabby, for promoting, for bigging up other people.
Yeah, they don't get it.
Right over y'all. Listen,
but here's the thing. Like,
no one
there
can
are people
convince
out there
me.
that want to, like, because honestly, when I read the tweet the first time, I didn't see the petty until you guys started talking about it, right? And so if you look at the backside of it,
the petty king has to be, that.
Exactly. So my thing is this, is like, so maybe she wasn't trying to be petty, because Gabby is a very intelligent and very, passionate human being. So maybe she was just trying to congratulate a girl on running fast. Maybe she was. I'm not in the room. I'm not in the huddle, so I don't know. So you have the people that think that she's being nice and congratulatory, and you have the people that think she's being petty. So I'm nowhere in either room. It's none of my business. I'm gonna stay in my lane. But I'm just saying that there are people who want to believe she's being nice, because Gabby is in. You can't deny this. She is an incredibly nice young lady.
Yes,
He's one of the nicest people on this planet.
Absolutely.
Cannot deny
Nice.
right.
Which is why I know that this is also the most highbrow petty ever.
Yes, bro.
And just because she's coached by an extremely competitive homegirl of mine does not mean she's being petty. That doesn't mean that.
Listen.
Wait, can I? So speaking of highly competitive, this is funny side note, and literally only like 4 people know this story. So we're standing over by the 200 start, and Tanja yells out to Clyde Hart, "Want to race?" Because they're both in scooters.
Oh, wow.
It was the funniest thing ever.
Oh,
it was
my
hilarious.
They should have put that on Flow Track. That would have been amazing.
It was so funny.
I want to be clear. We are in no, at least not me. We are in no way saying anything negative about Gabby Thomas. Gabby Thomas is one of the nicest people in this business.
Oh,
She is super respectful and she is highly intelligent. So
Yes, she is.
I am standing ovation for the
Yeah.
highbrow level
yes.
of madness that tweet is.
I'm a huge Dennis Miller fan, right? And I've always said this. Dennis Miller was one of the most brilliant comedians ever, but you have to be really smart to get it.
Yeah.
Right. He's one of those guys that tells jokes that like 3 months later, you're like, oh, I get it now.
That's what he meant. Yeah.
Gabby's tweet was like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like if you get highbrow humor, for sure, this struck right home. Right. Like it was perfect. But it's so highbrow that if you're not like that, you just think, oh, geez, Gabby's so nice. That was awesome. which was that was the genius of the tweet.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm here for it.
listen,
So,
I went to 2 track meets back-to-back weeks, and I
Mhm.
promise you, if I just wrote down the marks that I saw in the 2 meets, nobody would believe that I wasn't at the front end and the back end of the Olympics.
Yeah. I mean, Cambria Sturgis. Can we just
Yeah.
1087?
And have you seen the video?
Yes.
Yes.
Book.
Holy cow.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was nice.
Mm-mm-mm.
That was
So-
really nice.
So you know how we always prognosticate poorly, right? I think more entertaining prognostication out of us this year will not be who makes world championships. It's going to be what times do we leave home?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
I mean,
Because
We
I
can't
think there's
be
going to
worse
be
at that game than we are at the other one.
I
so.
think there's going to be like a 10-8 high or a 10-9 flat that gets left home. I think a 1970 something is going to get left home. God only knows what's going to get left home in the 100. I don't know.
man.
I have no idea. It's
You
like
see, I had this discussion in one of my practice sessions the other day, because one of the guys said something about running 9-9, and I'm like, okay, that's cute. Like, what do you mean? I'm like, 9-9 might not make the USA final.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So let's stop talking about 9-9 like if you run 9-9 like you're gonna get this plethora of opportunity all of a sudden.
No.
Right?
9-9 might not
is
win the SEC championship.
exactly, and 9-9 might not. It like literally might not like get you a gear contract anymore. Right? Like the kit, the broke professional kit is Lamar likes to call it.
Oh yeah, bring it back.
Yeah.
Because if you run 9-9 but don't win, that is what you're going to get.
That's right.
You're going to get the professional kit, and you're not going to get the professional kit from even all of the suitors.
Yeah.
Hey,
You know, like New Balance might throw you the professional kit because they don't have a 9-9 guy right
there are at least 2 conferences right now where 9-9 has no shot to win the conference. Because understand, 9-9 ain't winning the Pac-12 either.
now.
Nope.
Nope.
Who's in the Pac-12 besides the USC guy?
Micah.
Besides Micah.
It
Oh,
was a joke.
you got us.
I'm trying to get you to talk about the 983.
That hook got us.
I mean, like, but look, I apologize because y'all like about to come through the screen at me. The look on Clyde's face was like, if you lost
Well,
your
Clyde and I saw it in person, and oof, runaway freight train. Mike,
I was just gonna tap you out and tell you go to sleep. That's all. I was just gonna go to bed.
That was funny.
Yeah, I was trying to find Brooks Johnson made a quote or made a comment on one of Mont Johnson's quotes on Facebook, and he talked about the transformation of track and field and what we're witnessing right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that instead of people, chattering about it, they need to sit back basically and watch the show, man. Like this is good.
Yeah.
I mean, this is really good. And speaking of Mr. Micah, I mean, I don't know if it's Micah or Mackay. I've messed his name up, although Mr. Williams will call him. But that dude looks really good.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, really good.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, that was very, very nice.
So What went more under the radar this weekend? Allison Felix's 2240 or Christian Coleman's 1992? What
Christian
went more under the
Coleman's
radar?
Christian Coleman's 1992. And I say that in all deference. Look, I agree with you that Allison's 2240 was like a tree falling in the forest, right? Like nobody knew about it. But at the end of the day, like only three people talked about Christian Coleman's 1992. And I was like, guys, listen to me. The year he ran his PB of 976, he was in 1982 shape at the NCAA meet.
Yeah.
You are delusional again.
I'm delusional?
Yeah, he didn't run 976 that year.
His first year is the year that he came out of school? Oh, it's 2 years later
right.
at the next world championship. You're right.
I'm pretty sure that was 17, wasn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's okay. You know, he shows his age every now and then, and that's okay. I mean, he's a busy guy. He's got a lot going on in his life. So it's
also
okay.
true.
He likes, he gets hyper and he speaks before he thinks. But it's our job to reel him back in sometimes.
As I'm being corrected but not corrected, the point I'm trying to make is this: if Christian Coleman is in 1992 shape in April, he is a grown ass problem for everybody in the 100. He might want to pump his brakes on trying this double, because I still think that the men's 200 will be the most ridiculous event in track and field. But if he's in 1992 shape,
are from the US right now.
Yeah, well, if he's in 1992 shape in April, he's a problem in the 100. Now, that doesn't mean, look, there's a few problems in the 100, folks. Like, just understand this. I'm not saying he's gonna win tomorrow.
And a few of those problems in the 100 would all wax Christian in the 200.
That's why I said in the 100.
No,
but if he's that,
where you're attempting to go with that.
No, I'm not attempting. No. You're not going to diss me on this one. Christian is an elite starter, and we all know that, right? The issue is always like whether he's going to come back. If he's in 1992 shape, he's strong enough to finish the race. And so then the question then becomes like, can you be close enough to him to reap the benefits of whatever level he comes back? Because he's not going to come all the way back. We got that much. And look, I mean, I think we would all agree. 1992 by a pro in April in a college meet.
Yeah.
I don't care what your name is. That's really fast.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yep.
Does it matter what meet he's in?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Why?
Because college meets, okay, for instance, he ran that race by himself, right? I'm not saying it's superior to Fred and Mike's run, but Fred and Mike had each other. But you run 1992 in April racing nobody, like, it's fast.
I'm not sure you answered my question, but go ahead. Governor, you had a question.
I answered your question. You just didn't like my answer.
I said, Governor, I'm not, we're not speaking to you anymore. Let's Giants fan.
Damn right I am. Browns fan.
Okay. At least I'm smart enough to keep that to myself. So go ahead.
Yeah, we won't let it. No. That's the only place we can poke you.
Exactly. We're gonna leave that. We're gonna let that go. Governor, you had something sure intelligent to say here. So let's
two questions. So you get the sense that Mr. Allen is running free. He's liberated.
Oh my God.
His
yes.
future is already set. His side job now, he just gets to run. He gets to just, this is what I'm seeing from what he did at Mount Sac to what he did last week, running 13:12. You get the sense that he is now just having fun. Like, the world is not dependent on him running fast hurdle races. And so it's pointing at the camera. He's doing all these things now, right?
You see,
that's because the bag is secured.
but here's the thing. Go back, that's always been Devin, right?
Okay.
And and in my conversations with him last summer and with his coach, when I've talked to his coach, whether football came along, but this was always the plan, right? Like he was always like on this charge to be one of the world's best in the hurdles. So I think that the football thing came along and maybe it did take some relief off of him. Now he didn't have to worry about the financial side of it, but I don't think he was worried about the financial side of it in the first place because I think he was taken care of. But I think that I do agree. There seems to be a sense of relief. He's definitely on a mission, but I want to see it continue. That's all. I'm gonna leave that right there.
So I compared it to this, and maybe this is because of the people that I go and recruit, but when a recruit decides to commit, they all of a sudden start having these PRs and this lightened races and all these things happen because the stress is off their shoulders, quote unquote, right? So he's committed to play football and he's now, quote unquote, having fun and allowing himself to unleash. So,
yeah, I mean, you might be right. It does seem that way, but I just think if Devin, whether he's playing football or not, Devin is on a mission for a gold medal in the hurdles this year. That's his mission.
Okay.
Can I say one thing about Devin that I think is absolutely amazing that never ever gets talked about?
thank you for saying that.
Jesus. It's like I got a target on my back tonight. All I was going to say
ugly
is
jersey you're wearing.
It's because it's got a
listen,
Giants jersey.
You don't get to talk about ugly jerseys, sir. The Browns literally have the ugliest uniforms in the history of
Do
sports.
I have a Browns jersey on? See, there's a difference.
Anyway,
for rapid fire, we know that
just
I
proves that you're not a fan.
I do
Anyway.
not.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, no, I'm a fan that's smart enough to know that doesn't look good on me. The only time I wore that color brown is when I worked for UPS. And then,
Well, look at that. We
love
just
it.
told the whole world something that they didn't know about you. So anyway,
Oh man.
I think what is amazing about Devin Allen is he's had 2 ACL surgeries. I think people
secret.
I
Go get
think people
ACL surgery.
I think people forget that. You know what I mean? Like, and again, he's had 2 ACL surgeries, and he's a hurdler.
Yeah. Yep.
the dude
You know
is
what I mean?
flat
Listen.
tough, folks.
Yeah.
My God.
If
Somebody
we're gonna,
give that man all his props. Because listen, 2 ACL surgeries is hard for anybody to come back from and like try to be the best at anything in the world. He's trying to be the best in the world at something that is really, really hard.
listen, if we're gonna talk about things about Devin Allen that people have forgotten, sure, the 2 knee surgeries, always. But I swear people forgot that he's like made the Olympic final in the hurdles twice.
Yeah.
Twice.
He's been 4th, he's been 5th. So he's got all the positions just off the podium.
He's
Right.
battle tested.
And I'm sorry, I said this earlier in the conversation with one of my colleagues. We all understand that at his best, Grant can break the world record. If you take all the rest of the hurdlers that are current, if you're at 13-0, because ain't none of them in 12-8s, like, what's stopping Devin from being a gold, silver, or bronze medalist? He just has to have the right race and that dude is tough. He's resilient, always has been, and he's a finisher.
Yep.
So it's like anybody thinking that Devin can't get a medal is not paying attention because he absolutely can.
Yes, he can.
And if
See,
Grant
he's
does a
the
little thing
real
wrong,
great white hype that nobody wants to hype. You know what I mean?
Because
the
he
real
has Devin Allen is a 2 or 3 time NCAA champion. He's won the USA championships a couple of times. He's made the Olympic team twice. He made the Olympic final twice.
Now hold on, Lamar. Hold on.
But he's not. But see, he's mulatto, so you can't.
I'm about to say, hold on. Don't do that.
Qualify.
Devin Allen is black. Don't try it.
Yeah, then try.
He's a mixed baby. You can't call the mixed baby the white hype. He's a
Yes,
mixed
sir. Yes, sir.
Oh,
you didn't take your medication this morning.
You know, it's draft day. My brain is on another planet.
I love it.
Clearly.
I still love Devin Allen.
But look, Devin Allen is probably is my second favorite hurdler on the planet because we know who my favorite one is. So.
Yep.
Skeets Nehemiah.
Do you know?
I didn't say old hurdler. I said hurdler. Because see, you know, I love skis. And
Yes.
a lot of what I do has been crafted from watching skis as well, you know. So yes.
All right.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, did we round out track is back? I feel like there's something we missed and I can't think of it.
I mean,
I
I'm
think
sure,
we're
I'm
out
sure
of
there's a
tweets.
lot. We
There's too
we
much.
missed a lot, I'm sure.
I
Yeah.
know.
I mean, like
I
we
mean-
didn't address the 983, did we? You know, we didn't address that.
I mean, we just saw another 1236, right?
1226, yeah. 1236, yeah.
I mean, it just keeps going and going and going. It's crazy.
It is. Well, let's talk about something even more crazy. Because I feel like it's not being talked about a lot. Someone who not a lot of people are big fans of, especially on this screen, has announced they're stepping down from their high chairs. Mr. Emerett is going to be stepping down from his position in the NCAA.
Hold on. Can y'all all see me? Let me stand up. Just-
Can we not do that? 'Cause
Yeah, can we
whatever
please not
we're
do
doing, it's not coming off the way you think it is.
No, it's not.
Listen, that was a one-person standing ovation for the fact that Mark
Oh,
Emerett is
Lord.
retiring.
Well, that's
Yeah, we didn't see none of the ovation.
Exactly. And
Just
for
the
future
standing.
reference, let's never do that again.
Oh
Just
my
the
God.
standing.
Are y'all done?
No,
I know, are you done?
Oh man.
You just keep lobbing it up there for us, bro. I mean, I don't know what's going on with you tonight.
Wow. Wow.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's a tantrum. All right. Well, I opened the door. Who would like to walk through it first?
I mean, Lamar needs to walk through that door first because it's his topic. I mean,
Just as
so
long as he's
get back-
sitting.
Yeah, get back on the screen, sir, and do your job.
Oh, now he muted
Now
himself
he
too.
muted himself. Wow. Okay. Great job. Well, I think the ramifications of that decision and the talk around it are, you know, monumentous. I mean, it's crazy. If the things that they're saying are going to happen, if basically it's going to, it seems like it's going to maybe swings towards conference regulation. But that's what the conferences have wanted. The Power Five has wanted forever. The ability to make their own rules, to play by a set of rules that the other conferences can't play on. And that's one thing that NCAA did do. It allowed the little guy to play because it kept everybody, or tried to make the playing field as level as possible. But if conferences are going to regulate scholarship numbers and regulate coaching numbers, the game is going to be changed tremendously.
Yes.
Like just to a whole different ballgame.
When I saw the articles, it felt to me, and I don't know Mark Emmett very well at all. I think I've had one or two conversations with the man ever. It felt to me like a politician. You know what it felt to me? It felt like John Boehner retiring from Congress. Like, you know what? I see this crazy train coming and I'm not about to be around for it. Y'all not about to put this on me. I'm out. So they can call it a retirement, call it whatever you want. It felt like him chucking the deuces and like, whatever the fallout of this is, I'm not going to be here for it. That's what it felt like to me.
Well, that's interesting that you gave him that much credit, and good for you for being a bigger person than I. Mark Emerett was finally forced to take his ball and go home.
Mark Emerett, Gator great.
I said Emerett.
You said
Emerett.
I said Emerett, sir.
Okay.
See, Merry Christmas.
So there's 5 people on the screen, and the other 4 all heard you say Everett, and then you want to come back. So anyway, Mark stepped down, and the ramifications of his stepping down are what, sir? I apologize. I'm gonna leave you alone because clearly you caught up in your feelings tonight, and I apologize for that.
Okay. So anyway, before we get to the ramifications, let's just be clear. This was forced. he was never going to retire. Ever. Because why would he? He makes way too much money doing way too little. And he had way too much power. So at the end of the day, the conversation went something like this. Listen, we are going to have an untenable situation and literally have teams, schools, conferences breaking away from the NCAA and creating their own thing. We need to give some concessions and get out in front of this. No, they won't ever do that. Mark, listen to me. This is what's going to happen. You're not paying attention. Oh, where are they going to go? Mark, they have all of the power, and we've given all of the athletes the power to unify. And if we don't change this, it's going to have to, it's going to blow us apart. Fine. Well, I'm not going to be party to it. That's pretty much how the conversation went. Because trust me when I tell you, he wants no parts of what's coming. I'm going to be honest with you. 7 of the 10 things that are coming are good. 3 of the 10 things that are coming are absolutely abysmally bad. But it's all going to have to play itself out for people to get the nuances to what I'm intimating. But at the end of the day, he had to go for the NCAA to make its last ditch attempt at being the governing body of collegiate athletics. Right. Because if he doesn't go, the NCAA loses everything and they're no longer the governing body of collegiate athletics, because that was coming. Right. Because power football was leaving and they were taking the money and the TV and everything with it. And Bob's your uncle. But the issue you're going to have going forward, right? And I'm not necessarily saying that any of this is bad yet. People think they have a handle on the changes that are coming, and they have no idea. The changes that were mentioned seem monumental. They are. All of a sudden, there are no NCAA mandated limits to equivalency sports scholarships. So that means that the conferences have to govern themselves. Well, here's the problem, folks. If you go back to football, you already know that all 5 Power 5 conferences don't think alike. Right? So there's a sticking point to start with. Repeat that same verbiage when it comes to coaches in equivalency sports. But here's the thing. There are a great number of schools who have been living the Power 5 lifestyle because of conference revenue sharing. Mm-hmm. And if the things that have already been mentioned happen, there is no reason for conference revenue sharing.
Yes.
If I'm a rich, I do not feel any longer that I need to share with my poor brothers, poor sisters in my supposed conference.
Yeah.
Instead, I would like to unify with the other 32 to 45 teams and schools who have comparable money as myself, i.e. the NFL model. And conferences are not going to just be realigned. They're going to be redefined. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, Division I landscape as we have it right now is going to get moved to mid-major status. Mid-major status is going to get moved to bottom tier, barely hanging on Division I status or Division II. Because the very top, when the dust is finally settled, the quote unquote, what Division 0, that's what I like to call it, right, is going to be the richest football schools in the country, which is basically loosely the top 60% of each Power 5 conference. And then you add in the Notre Dames, BYUs, Boise States of the world. Like, that's what it's going to be, right? The and I'm not taking shots at any of these schools, the Vanderbilts, the Kansas States, the Washington States, like those schools that are in most sports in the bottom half to bottom third in their conference, and they don't pull their own weight as it pertains to going to bowls and feeding the pool, they're going to get left behind. Because when we're in a world where Texas A&M can legally buy the #1 recruiting class in football, bro, without rules that will eliminate this from happening, so there's no governance to stop that from happening. Oh, there's a lot of schools that are going to play the game of who can spend the most money.
Absolutely. And
they're going to spend their way out of their quote unquote sister schools, right? Like every school in the Big 12, every school in the Pac-12, every school in the SEC, every school in the Big 10, every school in the ACC doesn't have the same amount of money.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So when the top half starts spending money and they're like, well, this is what we're going to do by ways of a conference, and you can't, right? Like, look, I'll just make up a scenario. The ACC decides that for track and field on the men's side, they're going to give out 30 scholarships. Okay. So there's like 4 schools in the ACC that could do that.
Mm-hmm.
The rest can't. So then what? You're going to be in a conference where Florida State and Clemson have 30 scholarships and you can only afford 12? No. Right? So realignment and redefinement is coming, folks.
Yeah, I'll add on to that. One of the articles that caught my eye was the Notre Dame. You mentioned Notre Dame. The Notre Dame AD basically gave a timeline, and he basically said somewhere in the mid 2030s is where you're literally going to see the breakaway. And the reason for this, the main reason for this, the Southeastern Conference media rights deal runs through 2033 to 34.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they're legally bound to their media deal until 2034. Okay, the Atlantic ACC goes through 35 to 36. Big 10 is in this negotiation window now with Fox Sports. Pac-12 and Big 12 are next on the clock. So what that means is when that deal ends, I don't think there are any ties that bind whatsoever. None. Because I would say that the main thing, who wants to be the commissioner of the NCAA that comes in and says, I'm going to regulate NIL? Are you kidding me?
No shot.
Yeah, and you know what the main reason is? The main reason why that will never happen is because there are non-Power 5 schools that are figuring out NIL themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Right? On a much smaller level, but they're getting their athletes paid too. Okay? So when you step in, or whoever it is that's brave enough to step in and go in front of those the ADs and all of that, and say we need to control this, that train has left the station. In my opinion, it has left the station. I don't see it coming back. And
not only has it left the station, the things that it is taking with it, right? The things that it's taking with it are a great number of sports and opportunities. And this is one of the 3 things I'm mentioning that aren't good, right? As conferences realign and redefine, conference rules are going to go away as well, right? So like one of the rules that exists that helps all of the equivalency sports and the non-revenue sports is you have to have this number of sports to be in the Pac-12, to be in the Big 10, right? Okay. Well, if that goes away, let me tell you something. There's a great number of schools that aren't even going to try to have track. They're not even going to try to have tennis. They're not even going to try to, you know what I mean? Like they're going to eliminate a great number of sports because at the end of the day,
Men.
listen,
Men.
no sports, period.
Yeah, I don't see that.
I'm going to tell you why. Because quietly as it's kept, nobody's paying attention to this. There is a large faction of people that are pushing for Title IX to go away.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now that's a different issue.
But as long as it's there, then
Yes.
women's sports. Are
Yes,
still
as long as it's there. No, women's sports will still go away, but they won't go away like they'll go away at an equaling level as men's, right? Because at the end of the day, it's like right now I carry these number of sports because in order to have these men's sports, I have to have this number of wins.
Push the pause button for 1 second to let the old guy explain something to you, right? The United States of America is the most sports-driven society on this planet.
Right.
And if the pandemic taught us nothing, it taught us that, right?
Facts.
And
Yeah.
so even if you look at the quiet people that tried to push track and field away, so I think we need to let's wait to see about this sports going away stuff. Because if conferences are going to regulate stuff, if you don't have to have a number of sports to be in the conference, I don't think they're going to make sports go away, because that's a horrible look. And it's not going to be a good look for those conferences,
Mm-hmm.
especially if they're going to start cutting women's sports. That's the dumbest thing ever. They should try. So I'm of the belief that it's going to be the wild, wild west again, that you're going to see a lot of shenanigans, we'll call it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think those shenanigans are going to right away talk about cutting sports. I think that, it's going to be what it used to be back in the old days, is the, people trying to stockpile talent. There's this, quote out there from certain coaches that athletes should go to the schools they're supposed to go to.
Yeah.
And that's
that
what this
was
is
a
going to
cute
look
one,
like.
right?
It's very cute, right? So I think at the end of the day, that's what you're leaning towards here. I don't see elimination of sports. I just don't. I don't see it. Because as you guys like to say, the rich are going to get richer from this.
The reason I feel like there's going to be elimination of sports, and look, I'm not talking about like tomorrow and a mass exodus. I think there are going to be some schools that decide that they're going to throw all their money and their whole lot in life into football.
They're doing that now.
I think if there's any indication that Sir Lucious is what we just witnessed at Clemson, because Mr. How do you say his name?
Radakovich
was dead set.
Oh, he tried.
This decision was already made in his mind.
Tried.
It was done. Yeah. Okay. And the pressure that came politically, I mean, look,
because if the pot of money grows,
mm-hmm.
right? If the TV deals get better and bigger and better, why would there be a need to get rid of sports?
Yeah.
Because getting rid of sports is not going to make them throw more money at football. They're going to throw more money at football anyway.
That is absolutely true. And Lamar, to the point that you threw out there, I don't really care who's on the anti-Title IX train. There ain't enough of them, and it's a federal law, and there's no way in hell any number of politicians are going to allow women to get tossed off the boat like that. It's just not going to happen.
I don't believe it either. I just know that, the one thing this country is, and I think you guys all have to agree with this, the one thing this country is, to its core, is capitalist. Mm-hmm. And football's the thing that makes the most money, right? And I just think there's gonna be some fallout to this. But like I said, 7 out of 10 things is really good, right?
Football
there's gonna be some
not
fallout.
Getting rid of Title IX, I'll tell you that.
No chance.
No, Title IX is not
that
going
big
anywhere.
I mean, the God's honest truth is, like, if you really wanted to fix Title IX in sports, you really only have to do one thing: take football out of the equation.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, literally, that's it.
And now, see, that might happen.
Yeah,
sure.
And that would be helpful.
Right. I could see a world where politicians would gather to give an exemption to Title IX as it relates to football,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and everybody would win
Because
from
there
that.
is no female
Exactly.
equivalent,
There is no female
Exactly.
equivalent.
Right.
right? I mean, that's just what it is.
But let's be clear. Let's be clear. I think we all agree on this. The change is coming, and it is coming aggressively.
Mhm.
It's coming swiftly, and those who are not prepared for it are going to get run over by it because it's coming. Like, you know, you have to look, folks. You have to read, right? Go to the article and read. Like some of the things that already have been mentioned, and understand they're only giving you tidbits of what they're talking about doing. But some of the things that they've mentioned are limiting the transfer portal to a 3-month window and a
Mhm.
one time per year.
Yeah,
Like that's not good.
that is free agency.
But
That
the other thing is
is-
this is like, let's see, but there's a limit on the portal already. Now that's going to become more stringent. Okay, but at the end of the day, like I'm not agreeing with this. Okay, but if you're going to limit the portal, all you're going to do is you're going to, because I think the portal, like everything else, is it's a mess right now, right?
Mhm.
But there's enough people out there in the portal that are not getting what they want, and it's gonna calm down at some point. It is. But I also don't think that whatever limits you're talking about putting on the portal is going to change. It's just going to make it worse in some ways as well, right? Because if you make the window smaller, people are going to jump in there more hastily.
Absolutely. Like I'm a firm believer that if you're going to put any parameters on the portal, and I get why they're doing it, right? My thought would be this. Go back to the original rule we had, which is a one-time transfer rule with no penalty, right? So you can't just hop in the portal year after year. And 2, for all sports, you should, like, the portal should be open to transfer in normal times. Transfer for August and transfer for January, right? Like half the sports, you can't even transfer at mid-year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, see, unless you're a graduate transfer. So here's my thing. See, I think the transfer portal should be a free for all, because there's nothing that says a coach can't leave whenever the heck he wants to. So why can't the athlete leave when he wants to? Like if you're a head coach, assistant coach, you're an athletic trainer, you're an administrator, you have the right to leave. If somebody walks into my office tomorrow and goes, "Hey, I'm going to take another job across the country and I'm leaving in 2 weeks," they can go, right? So why shouldn't the athlete have that same deal? Why shouldn't they have those same rights? So like, see, in this whole one-time transfer, okay, so the number of coaches that have 5 jobs in 8 years, right? So why shouldn't the athlete be able to go whatever they want to go? If you're an athlete and you can find a way to stay academically eligible and go to 5 schools in 5 years, good for you.
Yeah.
It's not fair.
It's an interesting concept.
I never understood why. Okay, as a coach, I should be able to limit your choices of where you can go to school if you don't like mine. Which is why I don't do it. Right? It's okay, home of the free, land of the free, home of the brave, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's free about that? Talking about a slave mentality. Because now you got a coach. I mean, back in the old days when you could limit an athlete from talking to other schools.
Right.
Right? I mean, come on, we don't want to go back to that mess.
No.
That was just totally wrong. If
No.
someone is unhappy somewhere, and we talk about, abusive relationships, if you're in a situation where you're at a school where you're unhappy, and in this, era of, mental health and mental health concerns, why would you ever put anything in place that says you're forcing somebody to stay someplace where they're unhappy? That makes no sense to me.
I agree with you. Like I think I couldn't say it any better than you said it. Like the good for the goose should be good for the gander, right? Like
right. Stop, because let's also understand this, right? We understand that the cash cow of the NCAA is the athlete, because if you take away the athlete, there is no NCAA. But by the same token, we have to stop treating them as if they're slaves, treating them as if they can't make their own decisions. And if there's someplace they're unhappy, there should be no restraints. There should not be.
Yeah. It's coming, y'all. I don't mean y'all, the tiles on this screen, because I think y'all all get it. People
Yes.
watching this show, just listen, prepare. I don't know if you all love Game of Thrones like I do. Winter is coming.
Oh my gosh.
It's coming.
All right. So inevitable changes happening. More changes will happen. Houston, Cincinnati, UCF. They've been mentioned. It's been insinuated. It's almost done. Call it what you want, whatever verbiage you want to use it as. Did they jump the gun in their conference move to the Big 12?
Well, I mean, there's some talk out there that some of this stuff was very premature on a lot of people's part because of the situation that came out of with Mr. Emerett, right?
Mhm.
So I think that at the end of the day, I'm just of the like, hey, a conference is a conference. If you go, we'll see what happens. Like, I don't understand what the big hoopla is about. Okay, I don't think anybody surprised that they're going a year early. I mean, that's if they go a year early, they get more money. Like, so who's shocked by that, right?
Right.
So personally, and personally, like, hey, if they show up a year early or whatever, it is what it is. Like, I don't know what the big hoopla is about. For me, anyway.
Now, sir.
Now, sir.
Every now and then, you poke your head out from the top of the mountain and you say the most first world problem shit that we have ever heard. This
Love
man,
Love it.
sitting at the
First
University
world
of
problem.
Florida in the SEC, just said a conference is a conference. Really? It's all
It
the
is.
same. It don't matter.
No, see, I didn't say it's all the same. That's not what I said.
You said
But
a
you added that
conference
to
is
the
a conference.
Okay,
is saying it's all the same.
Look, I didn't say it's all the same. Okay. My thing is this, right? So if those three schools go to the Big 12, the Big 12 is still the Big 12. That's what my point is, right?
I thought we established that it's
point.
now the little 12.
Okay,
Oh my
exactly.
gosh.
See that there you go again. Okay, so now you're trying to pull me into your pettiness, and I'm not following that path. But,
Okay.
so all I'm
what's
saying is that okay, maybe it came off the wrong way, but all I'm saying is this, okay, like the conference realignment thing has never been a big deal to me because people go where they want to go. They get there, and okay, it's like I think it's a good thing when people change conferences because everybody remember how hard Missouri came into the SEC, right?
Yeah.
Like we got to show people we belong, and then they ran out of gas, but they did come in hard, right? But I mean, but it's like A&M has come into the league with an attitude, right?
Yep.
So when Texas and Oklahoma come, it's going to make everybody better. So that's my thing. Like, okay, the conference is a conference. I'm not saying that the SEC is better. I didn't say all that. You said all that.
Well,
I didn't say all that. Yes, you did.
But this is what I find interesting about this, right? For if we take all of this, if all this happens the way it is currently scheduled, right? For 2 years, 23, 24, 24, 25, the Big 12 is going to have the two SEC defectors and
the newbies.
Well, in 1 year, they'll have three because BYU is not mentioned as jumping the ship, right? So in the first crossover year, you'll have Oklahoma, Texas, UCF, Cincinnati, and Houston. And then the following year, BYU joins.
Yes.
Right. And then the following year, the other two leave. First of all, I'm a firm believer that the other two are leaving early as well, personally.
Yeah.
But here's what I think is absolutely hilarious. I think the winners in all of this are the four schools joining the Big 12. Because for sure, Texas and Oklahoma are super excited to be going to the SEC, where they are going to drop straight into the middle.
Or the bottom.
Right? I'm giving them the middle. And UCF, Houston, and Cincinnati, they all hit the lottery.
Yes.
Right? And the Big 12, and look, I am sure I'm going to get vitriol from Texas fans and Oklahoma fans, and here's what I'm going to tell you. I don't care. The Big 12 is going to be better with UCF, Houston, and Cincinnati
Mhm.
and BYU than it
Yeah.
is currently with Texas and Oklahoma. It is going to be a better conference in every sport.
I agree.
And I know I'm the only one that's riding hard on this thought. I think Cincinnati, UCF, and Houston in particular are three schools that being elevated from non-power fives to power fives that legitimately move the needle of college athletics.
Yes.
You
I
got
agree.
one that's in Houston,
Yeah.
you got one that's in Orlando, and you got one. I mean, listen, Sauce Gardner just got taken with the fourth pick. Cincinnati was just in the playoff and they weren't a power five school. Hello? Like if they're the Big 12 champs, right?
Oh my God.
And let's be clear, Cincinnati would have curb stomped all of the Big 12 this year in football, right? You know, like they're perennial powers in the, you know, in the Final Four of football.
I mean, look at what U of H basketball has done the last 3
Yeah.
years. Okay,
Samson.
that is not a fluke. After the first and the second and the third year, I mean,
The
Kevin
governor used to
Jefferson-
live in Houston, and he can tell you firsthand
Oh
that
my
is a
God.
gigantic talent center, and all the kids have all the best kids have always left Houston because to go to a Power Five school they
Yes.
had to, but
Yep.
now they don't.
They have a Power 5 school in Houston, Texas. That is a problem.
That is a problem.
That is a massive problem.
And the governor, and Sir Lucious knows Ohio better than all of us. And I think he would admit that having a Power Five school in Cincinnati is also a problem. But who is it? You know, here's what's funny. This is the part that I think is hilarious because I used to be in this conference for a long time. The Big Ten keeps their head in the sand, and this is what they don't get. Cincinnati becoming a Power Five team is going to shut their water off. They're not going to affect Ohio State, but
No.
trust and believe. Other than Ohio State and other than Michigan, Cincinnati is going to out-recruit every other Big Ten school in the footprint. Every single other state that is in the Big Ten, those kids would rather go to Cincinnati and be in the Big 12 than go to a Big Ten school, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
This is something that, you know, if you read the tea leaves and you read all the stuff, this is something that UT has been trying to avoid for a very, very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you would have to go all the way back to the Southwest Conference to understand that University of Houston enjoyed playing Texas. They loved it. there was a certain pleasure that they took. Okay, so this conference realignment, you know, in a lot of respects, I mean, Houston was ready to move 10 years ago. They wanted to move 10 years ago, and it just been stymied and stymied and stymied and pushed, and it's been pushed back and pushed back. So now you have a situation where Texas and OU, they're trying to negotiate their way out, but Houston, Cincinnati, UCF, and BYU are going to be in that conference for at least, I mean, I can't wait. I can't wait to see, because
I agree. And I'll say this just because this is typically my slant, right? The funniest part of all of this is the delusion in Austin. Because they really think they're going to come in to the SEC and run the room like they ran the room in the Big 12.
But I want to say
it's not
something.
going to happen.
With a small dose of insider information, what I will tell you is you were almost right. The funniest part is the delusion that is in Norman.
Oh yeah, but I mean they just coattail chasing anyway.
but you listen, you got to understand something. The University of Oklahoma is as bad as Notre Dame and Michigan as far as like living in their glory days, right? Sure. But the entire landscape of college athletics has changed, and it has not changed in the University of Oklahoma, right? For the most part, No, we're not talking about football because look, scholarships are scholarships, right? But in
Mhm.
every other sport, like at Oklahoma, you can't stretch the money. Like their 12.6 is 12.6,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But at least the schools in Texas have ways to stretch the money,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? So even I know we're gonna get to where like, you know, they're gonna have 30 scholarships in track and this, that, and the third, but they don't have a talent center to pull from. Right? Like
because there's another school in Texas that is
yes.
going to keep those kids home. It's
Yeah, like listen,
simple.
the
math,
University of Oklahoma has always owned all of the talent in San Antonio. That
Mhm.
talent's going to go to Houston now.
Mhm.
Right? Well, here's a geographical thing that most people who don't live in this area don't get. Most of the people in Louisiana have connections in Houston.
Yep.
Oh, sure.
They don't call
Well,
it
there's
the
a
Bayou.
whole lot of people who currently would consider going to LSU who might consider going to Houston because they can play on TV and it'd be a Power 5 school now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like I'm telling you, man, listen, Houston, those three schools might have been the three best have-nots who can become the haves overnight.
Easily.
Right? Like you can't pick three schools in better talent centers and in better proximity to talent centers than those who you're like, part of what was keeping them at bay was because they didn't have a seat at the table. But they all have one now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Can't wait.
It's a problem.
Well, now let's just go to straight foolery and talk about the NFL draft.
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
You mean the wide receiver draft?
That boycotting. I'm like,
Or do we want to talk about the Georgia defense draft?
y'all may as well tell us what happened because I promise you, I ain't even
Well,
looked at a thing.
listen,
I could not care less.
I'll give you a very, very brief
I will
synopsis.
second that.
I'll give you a very brief synopsis. There were 7 wide receivers, either 7 or 6. Let's go with 6. That way I know I'm not wrong because I know there were 6 taken. There might have been 7. There were 6 wide receivers taken. At one point in time, there were 3 wide receivers taken in the first round, like in order, bang, bang, bang. But there were at least 6 wide receivers taken in the first round, and 2 more wide receivers traded during the draft to create more wide receivers being taken. So AJ Brown and Hollywood Brown were both traded. Hollywood Brown is now a Arizona Cardinal, back with Kyler Murray, when they were college teammates, and
That's a terrible idea.
And AJ Brown is now he got traded from the Titans to, what's wrong with me?
Another team.
Yes.
Been asking that all night.
The Eagles. AJ Brown is now a member of the Philadelphia Eagles. Right.
Yeah,
So there were 6 wide receivers taken. There were also 5 Georgia defensive players taken in the first round.
Yep.
Okay.
And in a truly strange stroke of, I will call it luck, both the Jets and the Giants get like A+ grades for their drafting.
Yep.
Well, much like in fantasy football, that usually means you're gonna go 0-13.
No. If you draft well in the NFL, you usually play well. If you draft well.
So
we shall see.
My slant is a little bit different. Okay. And it's the chatter, ESPN, everything. They're talking, the thing that keeps coming up is that this is one of the worst drafts in the history of the drafts. And one of the main reasons is the first quarterback to be picked was
Only
number 20.
Only quarterback taken in the first round.
Only quarterback picked was the Pittsburgh Steelers selecting the Pittsburgh QB, Kenny Pickett at number.
Yeah, so he literally is going from one side of the building to the other.
Pretty much.
They play in the same stadium.
When have we ever seen a draft where QB, the top QB has fallen that far and there's only one in the first round?
Right. This
So
is actually a
basically,
great,
people
it's a
have
great
learned-
draft. It's a great draft,
People have learned the
but
Baker
everybody's
Mayfield
upset.
lesson. Is that what we're saying?
No, it just, what happened is it's like the quarterbacks that are in this year's draft are all good, but they're all
Yes.
developmental. There are no plug and play quarterbacks in this year's draft, and there haven't been. They've been talking about it all year, and so this draft is like ridiculously deep at wide receiver. Like somebody's going to take an all pro wide receiver in like the 4th round.
Yeah,
because there's like 100 wide receivers in this draft that are NFL ready. So like that's the deal, right? There's no running backs were taken in the 1st round.
Yeah.
Right. You know, so like the 1st round has become offensive linemen, defensive linemen, quarterbacks, and wide receivers. the occasional linebacker. I think there were both of Georgia's safeties were taken, I think. So you know, you got that kind of stuff, but for the most part, right, it's about the NFL does a better job than every other league as far as like identifying value. Like it's not that running backs aren't important, it's just that they have a place, and they're not going to pay 1st round running back money out of the draft, and they don't have to, and they don't pay any running backs that are older than 29, so that's where it's at.
So the next QB to come off is Malik Willis from Liberty. Yeah. And, you know, I mean, so we're talking, this dude showed up, suited and booted, and he's going to have to wait. I mean, that's just what it is.
Listen, the NFL draft is the NFL's greatest manufactured hype.
Oh, yeah.
It is utter nonsense, but I guess it's an entertaining TV show. It's all prognostication. 50% of it is wrong every single year. The busts are hilarious. Is Tom Brady still quarterback in the Buccaneers?
The
Rumor has
greatest
it.
example, Clyde, is the young man that was picked number 1 in this year's draft that literally showed up in the postseason, was nowhere to be found on the Georgia defense, had a breakout last couple games, showed up at the combine and just put some astronomical numbers out there. And he's number 1 in the draft.
Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all, since we're talking about the draft and I'm really bored, I'll just tell y'all like this. This is how I knew. This is the moment in my life where I knew for a fact that the NFL draft was utter nonsense. When I was at the University of South Carolina, and a also ran sprinter on the track team went to the pro day, dropped a 4.2, and ended up being picked the number 7 overall pick in the draft. And I'm like, this dude barely plays and he's not even good. I was like, so this is what we're doing? Cool. Listen, it's all guesswork. Highly paid guesswork.
God bless him. Make sure you invest wisely.
Right.
And move on with your life. That's what it
is. It's funny because I don't agree with you, but I do agree with you. I agree with you that the NFL does have a complete sham of a show, but it's not the draft, it's the combine.
Yeah.
I look at it all in one.
The draft itself is actually okay. The combine is a sham. And the people who fall for the combine shenanigans, the teams that fall for that, they're the ones that make me laugh the hardest. The ones who take the ones who take the combine, the combine phenoms, those are the ones that make me laugh. You played 3 years worth of football. I got access to every single snap you ever played.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to have that influenced by a conversation I have with you and 2 days in without pads on, with Lycra on, running, doing some drills. Yeah, no shot. If I was a general manager, they'd have to make me go to the combine because I wouldn't even go.
The pajama Olympics.
Yes. Yeah, that's what they call. They call them the underwear Olympics, and that's exactly what they are.
Jeez.
Big league.
Yes. Let's get off of that one.
Please.
So we will reinvigorate Sir Lucious and have
Yes,
him step
ma'am.
up into rapid fire?
Let's
It
do
feels
it.
like it's been a really long time since you've been in rapid fire.
It has.
Just
It
gonna
has
say
to
this.
be.
Every time Sir Lucius is in rapid fire, I am invigorated and entertained because the questions that Big League asks are always hilarious.
I think I got good ones this time. I've been
That's
on
what
a,
you say every
on a-
time.
I-
Every
well-
time you say, I think I got good ones this time.
Well, I've been on a roll the last couple of weeks, so let's see. Let's see. All right. All right, Sir Lucius, are we ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Got it. Favorite Drake or Penn Relays memory?
Penn Relays
thought-
was winning. I thought she was talking to me, my bad.
No, I thought you were gonna say
Wow.
Drake's song. That's why I was laughing. Sorry.
No.
My favorite Penn Relays, and actually both of them are 4x4s. The Drake relays, we ran like 302, in a prelude to us running 3 flat and winning the NCAA championship later that year. And it was like 15 degrees outside that day.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And at Penn Relays, it was the year we won the Championship of America 4x4, set the Penn Relays record in the 4x4.
Love it. Love it. What is your biggest track pet peeve?
Jeez, we could be here all night.
I was gonna say, how about not
You
being on a
you-
time schedule?
You gotta bring that one in a little bit.
What is your biggest track coach pet peeve? So something that a track coach does.
Well, for me, okay, my biggest pet peeve when it comes to track meets, honestly, is hurdle coaches have no freaking etiquette. Like they take other people's hurdles, they hoard hurdles, and then they never put the hurdles away.
Yes.
Never.
Remind me to tell you
If
guys
I
a
gave
story
you
off
$1
camera.
for every
Oh,
time I've
Lord.
cleaned up a hurdle, hurdle warm up for everybody else, you can retire because they fight to get the hurdles and they never put them away. So that's my biggest
Never.
pet peeve.
Oh, man.
Ever.
So here's a question I have really quick. When did the hurdle hoarding start?
Oh man.
I plead the fifth. Had nothing to do with me.
I
but
can tell
have
you where it
friends that
started.
are exactly who are heavily involved in this activity. So I'm not
Yes.
gonna, heavily
That's
involved.
funny.
It's I don't get it. Like
Lamar.
See,
leave it alone.
it got so
Leave it alone,
bad that,
Lamar.
like, okay, that's why we start taking our own hurdles to track. That's why.
Exactly.
That's where it came from.
That's
Like,
right.
literally.
I've seen
Like
this,
we showed up at the NCAA meet in Drake one year with our own hurdles.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's like,
That's so
what's up? I'm like,
crazy.
because you guys won't share the hurdles. So I had to bring my own.
Understand that means they put the hurdles on the plane.
yes.
No, it did not.
No,
they
it goes
just
on the
sent
bus.
bus.
It goes on the
Put on
bus.
the
It
bus, and the,
drives.
and the
Goes on the
bus
bus.
drove.
Yes.
And the
Yes.
people fly.
The people fly and the bus takes the equipment, sir. You put the freaking hurdles on
Oh,
the
Yeah,
that's
I
hilarious.
don't know
On the
if
private plane.
I don't know
All
if
right, that's-
Bob took that note. I don't know if Bob took that note out of your book, but he started
Everybody
doing
did.
that. Okay,
Everybody did.
there you go.
Because they were all trying to borrow our hurdles. And they thought we weren't
That's
using them. I'm like, no,
funny.
just bring your own next time.
That's right.
Oh, that's a whole thing now.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
big
Like,
time.
everybody
Big
do
time.
that now.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. All
Tell
right.
them that they're welcome.
Who would be at the dinner table for your dinner of a lifetime?
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Well done.
Well, you know what? You know what?
Told you.
My dinner of a lifetime. Both of my grandmothers. Both of my grandfathers who I never met. They both passed before I was born. And obviously my parents.
Love it. What is one food that you won't share with anyone?
You know, I just kind of got in trouble the other day because I love banana pudding. And, you know, there was some portions that, like, I had a portion Angela had a portion. I think there might have been a portion for the grandkids. I'm not sure, but they
But
all
it got
became
ate.
mine. They all became my portion. So I love banana pudding. So you bring the banana pudding in the house and you say you're going to share, you better get to it before I do, because I love banana pudding. Not sharing.
You may refrain from answering this one. I will give you the pass on this one if you choose. What do you consider
boy.
to be your money workout?
I'm not gonna give you the specifics of it,
Yeah.
but like I'm a race model guy, right? So I think like race modeling is what I think we do very well here, and that's a big part of the success we have. We really do everything we can to get the race locked in.
I like it. Good answer. Way to answer that too. Do you have a doppelganger?
I don't even know what that is.
I had a feeling you wouldn't. Someone who looks just like you, like gets mistaken for you. That's like not related.
Well, yes, it's definitely not really, but there's a
Coach Lynn?
I'm not doing you. See, you've been on fire all night long. There's a gentleman, actually, he's a friend of mine, and was one of my mentors when I was a younger coach, guy named Tommy Turner. And two people say we do look alike, but I don't even, neither one of us agree or disagree, which we just think it's funny, but yeah.
All right. Which would you throw away first, love or money?
Money.
And then fortune cookie messages, are they funny or they're truthful?
I don't eat fortune cookies, so I couldn't tell you.
Oh my goodness. All right.
I'd be surprised if
Gentlemen.
you ate Chinese food.
You don't have to eat Chinese food to eat a fortune cookie.
If we say so.
I don't think I've ever had one in my life, to be honest with you.
Really?
Chew, at least tell him the way to play the fortune cookie game to make it always funny.
You have to end it with in bed.
In bed.
Okay. I'll remember that. Okay.
So the next panda stop, just take the fortune cookie.
All right, I'll do that.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
All right, gentlemen, the floor is yours.
I will go first because this is not coordinated at all, and somehow Chu was just in my brain with the first half of her questions. My question, sir, for you was, before Chu said a word, what is your pet peeve in recruiting?
Ooh.
Oh man, my pet peeve in recruiting is respect. I try to pay a really close attention to how athletes interact with their parents and their coaches. Because if they're going to disrespect them, they're going to come here and try to disrespect me. It's going to happen. So that's my biggest pet peeve is respect, and of their people around them, and also respect of time.
Okay. All right. My turn.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Craziest, and I'm still on the recruiting train. Craziest recruiting visit you've ever done?
By far, and I love the guy, and we've had this discussion. Brashawn Batman Jackson.
Wait, who were you recruiting though?
I knew that was
Brashawn Batman
Brashawn.
Jackson.
Batman.
No, but I know you had also gone to the house. So
no.
I was making
no.
sure.
You're trying to get me. You're trying to get
18-year-old Batman.
You're trying to
Got
get me in
it.
trouble with you behaviors. So
Yes.
in recruiting Brashawn Batman Jackson, the craziest trip ever. Initially, when I got to town, I was told I couldn't come to the house anymore. And then I finally was told, okay, you can come. And then I got there and literally there was nobody there. And then, as you guys know, he showed up and he had two of his boys with him, and he left his boys there with me and he dipped. So like I never talked to Bat. Like it was crazy, But the crazy thing about it is, like, he and I became close somehow through all this, right?
Yeah,
We've always been like that. That is my guy. We're very, very close. But like that was, he will admit, like, he was sold on another school, and he it was a mess. But like somehow through all that, like he literally came into the house with his two boys. You guys know Bat, he talks fast, right?
Yeah,
And he's moving
yeah.
fast. He puts a video in of the state meet and he leaves, right? And so
And
I'm watching
understand,
that. Yeah.
he had gold teeth in his mouth when he did that.
No
Guaranteed.
question
Yeah.
about.
Right. And so, but
Oh,
then
man.
one of his boys was a basketball player and one of them was a football player. So they're both trying to get me to recruit them to Florida. I'm like, guys, I don't coach those sports. Yeah. But somehow through all that, yeah.
Batman recreated the scene from damn it, Boys in the Hood,
Boys in the Hood.
right? Because when the recruiter walks up to recruit Ricky, all his boys out there, yo, I play baseball, I do this.
Mhm.
Only Bat left. Bat
Yeah.
put in the tape and dipped.
Yeah.
Oh,
And he
man.
came back about 30 minutes later. And I'm like, yeah, man, I'm out. And he told me how to get out of the neighborhood. That was it. But like, so it's honestly from that interaction, like that is my guy. We are very, very close. We are very close.
So,
Yeah.
so at some point, if you ever talk to him, you have to hear Ken talk about the Walter Dix recruiting story. You need to hear that story.
Yeah, I will tell you that story off camera.
That
Yeah.
was
Was,
unreal.
Yeah, that was. It just wasn't as entertaining. It was entertaining, but not quite as entertaining as the
Okay.
Batman. And plus, and again, the thing with the Batman thing is we became close from that
Yeah,
situation.
yeah.
That's what's great about that. Yeah. Walter and I didn't become close at all. So
Okay.
No,
Lamar.
y'all did not.
All right, last but not least, sir.
Well, you've accomplished like probably in most people's eyes everything. So obviously, I know you haven't accomplished everything that you want to accomplish. So give the rest of the world an insight into one of your goals, one thing that you want to accomplish as a coach that you have yet to accomplish.
I think obviously the number one thing on the plate right now is the women's outdoor national championship. I also I've got this thing in my gut. I need to. Honestly, I don't need to do this. It's more of a want, but I'm gonna make it a need to coach a guy that runs 43 seconds in the open 400.
Mm.
You know, that's kind of stuck in my craw right now. And also, as Chuck and as Clyde and I talked about a couple of weeks ago, man, I got 12-1 stuck in my head on the women's hurdles, man, and it's just it runs rapid through my head all day.
Well, we know the 43 is about 2 weeks out, so
Is it
12-1 closer too?
I was like, wait, today is just a couple of days from what it could be. They run this weekend.
Oh, they racing this weekend?
Yeah.
LSU meet, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see. I was just thinking about Oxford. That's all.
You know?
Man, well done, sir. So
Thank you.
no suspect questions, just like I said.
I appreciate it. You know, those were very good questions. You know,
Spectacular.
Whenever I decide to put you on the hot seat again, I will remember that you were nice to me.
All right. Well,
so don't think that night might be right around the corner. So you be ready, okay?
No, never ready. Never. We'll round out the night with heartbeat props, of course. Just lifting people up and recognizing them while they're still here to receive it. So, anybody have anybody off tops that they like to get off their chest?
I'll go very quickly. I shared with you guys I lost a couple of my cousins a couple of weeks ago, but my baby sister's been in the hospital and she was released today. She's home and she's recovering well. I'm sure she will not see this, so I'll have to record it and send it to her. But my baby sister Renee, love you, girl. Glad you're home. Glad you're recovering, and can't wait to get up there and give you a hug real soon.
Best wishes. Get help. Clyde, you had your hand up.
My bad. Mine will be relatively quick. It's all track related, and it's twofold. First and foremost, heartbeat props to my boss, Jeff Konya, and the leadership here at San Jose State and with the Santa Clara County officials who all stepped out and put politicians' faces in front of cameras and committed to building what they are calling the Legacy Track and Community Center for San Jose State Track and Field. Huge deal. And I'm super excited about that, obviously, but leadership matters. And, you know, I'm very happy with the people I work under here, and they're doing a great job. So props to them for moving that ball up the hill. And then it's my favorite weekend of the regular season. It's rivalry weekend. And even though we don't have a natural rival that we're doing a head-to-head with this weekend, you know, it's the big meet, Cal Stanford, it's USC UCLA, it's the Apple Cup, whatever they call that. It's dual meet weekend on the West Coast. And so if you're on the West Coast, find your way to one of those battles, because I guarantee you it's going to be entertaining no matter what happens. So make your way to one of the dual meets this weekend. Race your rivals once a year.
I want to send a shout out to my two brothers up in Canada. We lost our dad a year ago, this past Sunday. And thinking about them, holding it down up there in the north. I mean, they've been absolute pillars to keep things together in the family, and just want to let them know I'm thinking about them. And, you know, haven't gotten a chance to get up there, but wanted to get up there soon, and so we can, you know, reconnect.
That's awesome.
Love it. I'm gonna take EP privilege, and I'm gonna have heartbeat props for two people this week. One, because look, I appreciate when our fan base enlightens me. So this young man I have not yet seen run, but I most certainly will. Christian Noble, who goes to Lee, is that right? Lee University in Cleveland, Tennessee. Who has been 13:24 in the 5K and 3:36 in the 1500, and he's at a D2 school. So we need to big up this young man who is doing huge things, and big up to D2, because look, there's a whole lot of D2 folks out here coaching their butts off, recruiting their butts off, and doing all kinds of things without NIL money, Power 5 money, TV money, or any of that. And secondly, I'm going to be a homer, and I'm going to give out my heartbeat props to my oldest son. He has been struggling mentally with some obstacles in his career, and he's starting to show signs of life out of those things. And he's had one hell of a last 48 hours. He was 2 for 2 off of with 2 doubles off of the Minnesota Twins, highly ranked prospect, and he is, unfortunately for him, a Jets fan, and the Jets had a monster first round draft tonight, so he probably is sleeping solid tonight for the first time in months, y'all. So look, to the youngin who occasionally watches our show, I will tell him he should probably watch this one. You know, look, shout out to you, young man, for perseverance and trying to work to get your mind right and owning your circumstance, and, you know, remembering that your last name is Huffins. Love you, dude.
That's funny. Similarly, because I dropped the ball and did not lift this dude up when it happened, but my guy, Sean, 13-year-old, had an inside the park home run. And it was en route to Carifta. I put it on social media, but I meant to say it out loud here. He's really come out of his shell this year in baseball and gotten confident. And it was fun to see on Game Changer. It was not fun at all. I'm being sarcastic because I had to watch just the words come out of Inside the Park home run. No dots, no running or anything. But you know, the subtweet to it is to the heartbeat props to the families who were there for me, who gave him hugs, who lifted him up, and were super excited with him. So love that he got to experience that. Check him again. Don't get it twisted. You are not that fast. You'll still get smoked. You're just baseball fast. So you'll be all right. But
These are facts.
other than that, that is my heartbeat props. And with that said, thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for continuing to listen to us every week. Thank you for still being entertained. Thank you to those of you who still are still learning and who still reach out and, you know, that let me know specifically, but let us all know that they feel like we, the Tiles, are talking to them directly. And that's special, because it being 2 years deep, that says a lot. So everyone travel safe, be safe, run fast, turn left, go hard in the paint, and we'll see you all next week. Bye, everyone.
G-Man.